Hi everybody. I'm just waiting for Jason to go live. Maybe it's 3 o'clock his time. Oh, that could be. Hey there. Hi, how are you doing? I'm just waiting for Jason to come on. And we're going to be talking about the Divine Masculine and the Ascension Movement. Hello everybody. Allison, Trudy. Hi Chris. Hi Kate. Everybody here ready to rumble? Hi Allison, Krista, Alyssa. Wonderful to see so many people coming in today. Hi Seb. Awesome. Just waiting for Jason, folks. So today we're going to be talking about the Divine Masculine and the movement of men towards the ascension process. One of the things that I've certainly noticed is that there's been a disproportional number of women engaged in this spiritual movement towards enlightenment and the ascension process, and a far less contingent of men entering that movement. But that process is going to be undergoing a huge change. Hi Jacqueline. Where the divine male, that is the balanced male that recognizes both the masculine and the feminine as a balanced aspect of human consciousness, is what's coming into play now. And being able to feel our male side and our female side as equal in their own right, each having their own place in how we express ourselves in the world and with each other. And again, I'm just waiting for Jason to come up. I'm hoping that he understands that it's 3 o'clock my time, not 3 o'clock his time. If that's the case, then we're going to just have some airtime here together. So it's important to understand, I started on this journey a long time ago, when I began to recognize that the model that I was in, the men that I was hanging around, the things I was doing, weren't feeling right to me, weren't setting right to me. And a lot of men, I think, recognize something doesn't feel right about the way life is, but they're not able to transition into what does that feeling mean. Because most men don't define themselves in terms of feeling. Most men define themselves in terms, at least from my experience anyway, most men define themselves in terms of things and lower base emotions of control and power, which is the old male model. I'm just going to see if Jason's here yet. And the old male model is control and power. Let's see, Jason. Okay, there's no Jason yet. So the old male model is control and power. And from the transitional point in our consciousness where we left being animal consciousness and began to evolve our soul consciousness into the physical body, where we started to recognize that we aren't the body, but we inhabit it. But it's the very nature of the body's survival mechanism. Hi everybody. The very nature of our body's survival mechanism required that we protect it. And so from a point of reason, anything that became perceived as a threat, the male would attack. And for me, that journey was learning to transition from that desire to fight or flight to learning how to feel, how to be present with my emotional state. And it's a very fascinating thing. I've seen more men in this group actively connecting to their feeling nature. And oftentimes the feeling nature can be associated with being helpless and weak, when nothing can be further from the truth. That our feeling nature is actually the very fuel that we use to drive our actions. Unfortunately, the body, which is the primary source of how we experience feeling, it isn't the source of feeling, but it's the primary place in which we experience the result of our feeling nature from within and from the world around us. And when we begin to change that, we begin to move in a new direction. Hi Kristen, hi Edwina. Just waiting for Jason to come on, folks, here. Yeah, so understanding what is the divine masculine. I mean, from my experience, I think the masculine and feminine components are equally balanced in every man and woman, or ought to be equally balanced, but our social conditioning, our biology, naturally incline us to develop more masculine or more feminine versus the other. And we're seeing in the global community, whereas we see people expressing different types of sexual nature from the body. A man who's got a person in a male body who identifies with female, or a female in a a male body who identifies with being male. And we have these reverse role, which are aspects of the divine self starting to balance themselves out in the human psyche. And we're seeing it show up as the symptoms of people wanting to change their genders and stuff as a natural consequence of the recognition of the divine masculine or divine feminine. And they seek to match that up in their physicality. But in truth, the divine masculine and divine feminine are equally balanced, whether you're in a female form or a male form. But they have to be consciously balanced, they have to be consciously developed. They can't just spontaneously happen. I'm just waiting for Jason. Let's see if he's on yet. I'm seeing comments. Hi, Devada, Elena, Carol, Marty. I'm wondering, it might be possible that Jason is thinking it's 3 o'clock his time. That's quite a possibility. But anyway, as far as divine masculine, I've seen a lot of men in the Course who are stepping out and showing their feminine side, their feminine energy is a better way to put it. Because feminine side, oftentimes femininity is not necessarily is more of a demeanor, a quality of energy that respects, nurtures, cultivates, cares, is compassionate in nature. But I also believe that the masculine, divine masculine, has those elements too. And that when you combine those two, you create what I call a transcendent personality, an individual who functions holistically as a complete individual and recognizes that all beings are equal to itself, and none are greater, none are lesser. I'm just trying to fill the air here. Wow, look at all these beautiful people. You guys are awesome. All of you are just amazing in this course. You've been stepping up and stepping forward. I hope you keep doing that, because we're going to continue it on in the 102. The skills you're developing here are laying a very solid foundation for what we're going to be bringing to you in the 102. And from a perspective of men, a lot of men can start to step into their personal power by embracing their higher sensitivities, because once you start to move out of your body identification, once you start to sense and feel the consciousness that is you, that is non-physical, you start to move into an undifferentiated state of consciousness, a holistic state, which I call soul, spirit of universal light or love. And that sense of non-physical self enables anybody who's tapped into it to function from that level. Then the expressions become expressions of inspiration, of divine, from the Lord, from the Spirit, from the oneness, from your guides, your angels. That energy, when you start bringing that through, is neither masculine nor feminine, but it is productive and beneficial to the physical world and to humanity in general. Because then you're operating from a place of compassion and love and completeness, rather than the fragmentary state that most people get in. If I'm identified just as a male body, there are certain restrictions that come with being just a body. Just as there are certain restrictions come with being the personality you've been conditioned to think you have, who you've been made to think you are, whether it's John or Alana or Kimberly or George or Mary. Those are conditioned personal roles that are built and hardwired in the brain, and that's not who you are. It's not who we are. And the minute you begin to identify self as this energy that is connected to all things, you begin to interact with life very differently. It changes the structure of your relationships completely and totally. And as a man, men are embracing their feeling nature more and more and more. And when I say feeling nature, I mean the ability to feel the energy of emotion without perceiving it as weakness. To feel the energy of emotion without it being perceived as weakness. Because classically men have dealt with the physical world with our hands, with our feet, with fighting, with the physical world. We've identified that this is the world. And we've had to fight the world to create what we're experiencing right now. Or so we've been led to believe. When in reality, what's starting to happen is we're recognizing there's an undifferentiated energy that we can tap into and are tapped into, that we can begin to direct energy through form to create and alter form directly through energy. And we're all doing it all the time anyway. All of you people watching, all of us are directing energy all the time. Anytime you go into an emotional state, you're directing energy, you're tapping into a quality of energy. Now, I'm sure there's other men in the group, and there are a couple here. Sebastian's here. Maybe I can bring Sebastian on. Bring Sebastian on, and let's talk about the divine male, because Jason's not here, and it would be nice to get more than just one perspective. So let's see if you can join here. Wow. Let's see. Sebastian, where are you? There you are. Oh, Sebastian must be on a laptop because he's there's no camera beside him. Cell phones are the best for going on lives, folks. If you're going to go live, it's better to do it with a cell phone. I'm seeing if we have any other males present. I think, there we go. Are these there again? It's always good to have more than one perspective, which is why I was hoping Jason would. I think Jason's probably just made an error. I think he's probably think it's 3 o'clock his time, not 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Trudy said, yeah. Hey Sebastian, if you have a, pardon for the shaking folks, I have to get a better tripod than this one. Okay, I don't see any other males, but what I would like to do is, Sebastian, if you get a chance, send me a request to join, because it'll show up on the bottom of my screen here. Yeah, you have to go on your, Sebastian, you have to go on your laptop to be able to come live with me. And if you choose to do that, swap it out. Come in on with your phone on landscape. Make sure your phone is on landscape. That way it'll be a split screen and will be presented equally in size on their screens and everybody else's screen. I think that's really important. The large screen and the small screen kind of creates an energy imbalance that's not conducive to what this message is about. So, and what we'll do is Sebastian will come on and we'll talk a bit about his experience, what it means to awaken the divine feminine and divine masculine within himself so that he creates a balanced sense of being. Because we're all in that. The emotion is feminine. I've always believed that. Emotion is feminine. Reason and logic are masculine. Most women have developed predominantly the emotional component, and that's not to say that women haven't developed the reason component, but men have predominantly developed the reason component and less of the emotional component. And so you find in relationships that men tend to be codependent on women. I've seen that a lot. I don't know about you ladies, but that happens a lot in relationships. And part of the reason that happens is the male has not developed his own feminine energy. He's still in a dependent state. He's still in a child state. And the same thing happens in the reverse, where you've got men taking care of women, where the woman has not developed her feminine state and balanced it with her masculine. The masculine part is creative. The feminine part produces the creation. The masculine part is the creating part. The feminine part is the creation part. It's important to understand that. So you get ideas in your mind, and your ideas direct your emotional energy, and the emotional energy produces the result in material experience. Let's see. Oh, there. I think we got him here. Approved. Okay, it's adding you now, Sebastian. It says no answer from that. We'll try you again. Okay, let me find you on the guest wall, see if I can send you yeah, I got the request, Sebastian. It's showing up here as a request. I've approved it. I'm adding you. It still won't add you yet. Just give me a moment. Here we go. Never a dull moment in 101. And there'll be never a dull moment in 102. You see, all of these things that you think aren't happening the way you would like them to happen are actually there to help you to become more centered and grounded in the moment. Because your mind, based on past programming, will perceive changes relative to what you remember as being out of what your norm is. And it's important to be able to extend yourself into the places where you're uncomfortable, but you're not uncomfortable. Where a change is okay, change is invited and welcomed, because it gives you a chance to experience your reality in a brand new way every single moment. And that's why the moment is called the present. Okay, I'm going to try and send you a request directly. There's Seb. Now it doesn't give me the option to send you a request now, although I did receive yours. Okay, I'm not sure what's causing that. Problem with breaking your attention. So yeah, understanding the present moment is really crucial, because in the moment you will always, in the present, you will always be balanced. Your male and female are never out of balance when you're living in the present moment. They cannot be imbalanced because you're in the present moment. To be out of balance means you're either living in your past present, or living in your past future, which means you create a future based on what you remember, so that causes you to think, feel, act, and believe in certain ways based on your past, but not on the moment. So in this moment, where things aren't happening exactly the way I would like them to, I'm in a state of beingness that all those things are allowable and part of my process. That way, I get to evolve and develop and cultivate a different state of being in the moment than I would normally have if I were going by, oh my God, he's not on, how am I getting, all these people are watching, but my brain can do all that stuff. And most people allow, and many of you I've watched, have allowed your minds to convince you that there's something's wrong because something's different than what you normally are engaged in. But I say to you right now that when that stuff is going on in your mind, if you recognize it is not you, it is just your mind, your past conditioned programming, you can operate in the present far more effectively. Okay, let's try this again. It says no answer from live guest. I don't know what that means. Has our society based too much emphasis on the divine masculine and not as much on the divine feminine? That's a good question, Paul. And based on my experience, I think a lot, in terms of the schools of thought where people actually practice energy work and healing, I think that's not true. I think it's fairly well balanced. In the conventional world, there is no reference in the conventional world very deeply yet of the divine masculine or the divine feminine. We're bringing that in. Groups like this, light working organizations around the world are now bringing in that energy right now. It's coming in quicker and quicker and quicker. And every time that you're able to balance that energy, you transmit that signal. Every time you're able to stay out of fear and in the present moment, you're transmitting a pure signal to the collective consciousness of humanity. So it's important when you step into an emotional state that's from your past, that you recognize that distinction between your past and your present, and then decide, no, I'm not going to live by that past emotion, feeling, thought. I'm going to stay in this present moment and continue to stay focused here and now. That will let you function very differently than you would normally, and it steps you outside of the matrix of your past programming and moves you into the natural expression of your soul, which is who you truly are. You know, and there's a part of you right now that is resonating with these words and feeling these words. That part of you that's feeling these words and resonating with them is the part of you that lives in the present moment, that knows it's true. And there may be some of you that's got this weird feeling in the back of your mind of uncomfort or discomfort watching this, and you're not sure, but there's a part of you that still gets it. So something makes sense here. And when you are able to make the distinction between who you've been thinking you are and who you are being right now, because what right now is who you want to be right now. Do you want to be an uncertain, frightful person, or do you want to be like an empowered, strong, communicative person that's able to communicate your ideas fluidly and easily to everybody? Do you want to be someone who can step into something brand new, even though if you're afraid of it, you know you're going to step into it, you're going to be perfectly fine? Okay, I'm going to try that. Okay, let's try this. Bring Seb on camera. There we go. Okay. It says it's adding you now, Seb. So this will be fascinating because you've got some great questions here. And it's important. Once you understand... Oh, you're welcome. Hey, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, good.
Awesome.
Finally.
So I wanted to talk a bit about what it is to you. What do you think the divine masculine emerging in life is? What do you think that really means?
Yeah, so like you were saying, it's about the balance of the two. Recognizing or acknowledging that we have both energies, whether you're female or male, and just embracing that.
How do you embrace it? Give me an example of how you embrace the divine masculine.
So with me, because I'm creative, so I I guess I tune into feminine energies and masculine energies as a musician. And when I'm creating music, or it's you do get emotional, you do get certain states.
Do you feel more empowered by the emotion, or do you feel disempowered by the emotion?
I feel more powered, more powered, more empowered.
Yeah, the whole feeling thing is very powerful for men. It's something I know for me. Emotion was something I was not allowed to feel in my childhood. Don't do that. Don't speak back. Don't feel that way. Don't act that way. Don't express what you're feeling. Was a common theme. I don't know about for you, but certainly as a child, it was like um, children are to be seen and not heard. Don't speak unless spoken to. Don't express those feelings about that boy threw a rock at you. Don't cry. Suck it up.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you get all that?
yeah, and especially not so much at home, but especially at school. You know, and I went to a to an all boys high school, so it was very I didn't have the best the best of times. Let's put it that way, because you know there's all these, you know, for example, when it came to sports or things like that, which I was never really that interested in. So yeah, it was yes, interesting one.
It's hard to talk about it in a way that makes it easy for people to comprehend because you'd have to be for women watching. I think from my perspective, from women watching, to know that you can't feel that or that you're not to be told that we're not supposed to feel what we feel was where I mean for me I got stuck in my own evolution, my own growth of being able to be who I am. Um, when I came to the place where I started evolving my feelings, I started stepping out of the old model of men, and I started to become different. I just started to feel better about myself. I started feeling good. I started allowing myself to feel. But I got JC behind me tapping and said, "Hey," he's tapping me on the back of the head like this, and he's saying, "You got to say something about this truth. That in truth, the divine masculine." He's saying the divine masculine is the male that is whole and complete in the moment. A divine man does not need to see himself as male or female. He just is his being.
Yeah.
He will not use references, I am a man. He will use reference, I am being.
Mm-hmm.
I am life expressing as life. I am consciousness manifesting self for the betterment of consciousness, which is self. It's important to know that you are not separate from all that you see and hear. To grasp this truth, to grasp the truth that you are not more nor less than all that you see or hear, puts you on a platform where you are able to then articulate your beingness. And he's stressing the word beingness. It's about what you're being, not about who you think you are, or defining yourself by your actions, but defining yourself by your. I'm saying that means qualities of character, honesty, integrity, sincerity, truth, playfulness. He's listing these off: playfulness, creativity, curiosity, excitement, love, passion. He says there's many, many more ways to define the divine state of being, because really what needs to be said here is that we are all aspiring to the state of our divine being. It's important to understand that there is no male nor female from the state of being. There is just being. You define yourself as male or female because you identify with yourself as being just a body or as being a certain person. When that identification process ceases and you assume control and authority over who you're being in the moment, you are then free to be what your creator intended you to be here, which is neither one or the other, but all that is. He's saying you'll understand that one when you begin to understand how to be what you are in the moment. Do not refer to yourself from the past or to refer to yourself in the future, but to know thyself as you are now. This is the only way that you can know the truth of what is to be divine masculine or divine feminine. He's saying there is a process that everyone goes through that requires polarity. But as you recognize that polarities are illusions, you bring yourself closer to the middle of now. Because the end of polarity is the being in the present moment. There's no polarity. There's no resistance. Wow. This will end a lot of confusion. It's important when you look upon another body, when you look upon another's body, do not see them as the body. See them as a consciousness, a conduit for consciousness that you can communicate with the source at all points. If you understand this truth, you can communicate to all points of individual self, to the one self that is you in truth. Some of you will understand these words and some of you will not understand these words. But those of you will mostly feel the words. You will feel the words as vibrations in your body. You will feel the words as vibrations in your heart area, pointing to here and saying here. You'll feel heat here to know the truth. The truth is always felt by the heart, but you can feel it coming into the cells of the body to the top of your head down. So to learn to be in the present moment, to listen with an open mind, to speak with an open heart, to hear with ears that are open. In the moment, you'll only know this truth. You're saying, do you know this? Are you willing to know this? Because you will know this. The path on which you are on right now will take you to that point. When you let go of any need to control an outcome, when you let go of any need to try and improve yourself, when you let go of any need to think you have to be better, but focus on being what you are fully in the moment, you will resolve a lot of the internal conflicts that you're currently feeling. The internal conflict only exists because you're trying to distinguish between what was, what will be, and what is. And there will always be conflict if you divide it into 3 points. It can only be one-pointed in the moment. You must learn to be in the moment. And in the coming weeks, you will learn how to be in the moment. You will begin practices and you will learn to be in the present moment. Even now, as you hear these words, and you can feel them coming into the vibrations, you can feel them coming into your crown chakra. Some of you feel it coming in the back of your head. Some of you feel it coming in your ears. And as you feel these vibrations coming in, know they're the vibrations of your being. They're the vibrations of your being. And I am part of that being. So as you allow yourself to feel the being of yourself in this moment, you merely may be using these words and these frequencies as reference points to trigger that which is already within you as yourself. Very important, he's saying. Very important to be in the moment. And to learn to be in the moment. So at this point, he's saying there is, in that reality, there is no duality. For any discussion about masculinity or femininity is based in duality. And from the place of duality, you can only create more duality. You are here to create a unified whole within yourself and within the collective consciousness of humanity. And there's many ways in which you can achieve that outcome in the moment without trying to think you have to go somewhere. A lot of you think you've got to get somewhere, but where you are is where you need to be to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Where you are now is where you need to be to get somewhere. Wow, this is the first time he's ever come through like this intensity. So obviously there's a bunch of us here that need this, to hear this for whatever reason, but it's always a good one with JC. So based on everything I just heard, let's look at this. What is being in the present moment? What is being in the present moment for you, Sebastian?
Being in the present moment.
Well, I like that. You said it went up to the light.
Yeah.
The moment is the light. You said nothing happens by accident.
Yeah.
So when you're a being in the moment, what does that mean for you as a man? He's laughing his ass off. He's saying, let's see how he answers this one.
Being in, not really thought about it, but
He wants to know if you want a hint.
sure.
He says, what is the feeling of being in the moment for you?
Feeling, being in the moment.
He says, feel it, don't think about it.
It's just peace.
Yes.
Being at
And how does
peace.
that, yep, and how does that translate into action?
Living peacefully.
That was easy, wasn't it? So I mean, being in the moment can be a scary thing for some people because we're so used to referencing ourselves from what we remember or what we think we're going to be. And when we give that up, what happens? When you give up who you think you're supposed to be, when you give up who you think you've been, and you give it all up. And that is what he's saying now. That is what I meant when I said you must surrender the world, give up the world. He's saying give up the old self, to give up the self that is not you, to be here. That is to give up the world, to surrender the world. It was not meant to be giving everything away to everybody because you're going to give up the world. It was meant to be to surrender the interpretations of yourself based on the world and to be what you are now. And this is true whether you're in a female body or a male body. He's saying this expression is almost like he's got a hammer. He's hammering this in. He's saying, whether you are in a male body or a female body, the truth of your being can only be realized in the present moment. And you can only see and realize the beauty of another from that same place in the present moment. And so, understanding the divine masculine is a place of awareness, a state of beingness. And I would not assign the word masculinity. This is a term that's necessary while you're in a body when you think in terms of opposites. But outside the scope of thinking of yourself in terms of opposites, there is this being. You walk in nature and you see the trees and you see the birds. They are beings. They don't think about being. They don't think about flying. They don't think about growing leaves. They're just being the leaves. They're being the flight. You need to be what you are. And to know that, you must drop the mask that you've been put on, that was put on you. He's saying, we were all given masks as children. All of us, at some point, were given these masks. And at some point, you go and you pull it off. And you say, I'm not the mask anymore. Who am I? And so that's a very important question. Who am I? He says. Who am I? And he's saying, I am that you are, I am, he says. When you know that you are, you don't have to question that you are. But if you're questioning anything about your life, then you're not being who you are because you're questioning.
Mm-hmm.
One who is who they are will not question. They will just be.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, his energy is really strong. He's not going anywhere. He's going to just keep saying, he's going to keep reeling. He's going to keep reeling. I want you to all understand that you are being prepared for yourself. You're not being prepared for anybody but yourself to be what you came here to be and do. All the work that you're doing these many years, some of you, are to be who you are now. You've been building to be in a moment. And in that moment is all things, is all time, is all experience. In that perspective, you are free. But only from that place. Not from before, not for later, but now. You're free. The goal of the masters and your angels and your teams are to bring you into the moment so you live as you are intended to be. All of our efforts are designed specifically to get you to be in the present. All of these practices, all of these trainings, all these books are designed to get you to one place, the kingdom of heaven, which is here and now. It is not elsewhere, but it will be with you forever when you step into it. It is with you. He's leaning into me, saying, it's within you forever. You are in it forever when you know you are in it. It is a state of being that will affect doing. Your being causes the doing. What you do doesn't cause you to be. This is an important point for all of you to understand. It is your being that causes the doing, not the doing that causes the being. And when you know this, and you will question whether or not what you're doing is from your conditioning or is it coming from who you are, who you are being. And you don't need to change yourself to be who you are, but you need to release who you are from that which you're not. Can you make that in simpler terms? Because this is pretty complex. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get him. Okay, hang on. When you meditate, he's saying when you meditate, when you have silence, can you listen in the silence to nothing? Can you still be in silence? Can you?
I try.
Because you can. He's saying you
Yeah.
can. When you can be in silence, you are being. You laughed a lot today. Funny. You want to understand the truth of what you are, then you must learn to seek the moment. And in these trainings, you're being guided to this place of being in the present. The other things we give you to do are to distract your mind from keeping you busy from yourself, because that's what your mind has done to you all your life. It's kept you busy from yourself. It kept you looking there and over there and up here and down there. Your mind has kept you very busy. It was made to keep you busy, to keep you out of yourself. And our goal is to get you back into the moment where you can hear all that is, where we speak to you always, where every question you have ever asked, every problem was solved. We offered you solutions and we offered you truth and we offered you knowledge, but in the moment those answers are there. If you are not in the moment, you will not hear them. Do you understand?
Yes.
Only in the moment can you hear us fully. And when you hear us in the moment, you will know that it is true because you will feel it in your own being as yourself, because we are not separate. And you need to know this.
Yep.
When you're being, you're not separate. So when you idolize things, when you worship things, they are merely symbols that represent what you are. But the symbol, too, must eventually be released. All things that you use to refer to yourself as being from the outside must be released. To let go of the world, to surrender your earthly possessions, does not mean to give up your money, to give up your house, or to donate everything to charity and go live in a mountain. He's saying to give up the world is to give up your interpretations, your acquired sense of who you're supposed to be about the world, and give it up and be who you are now. Because in the now, you are not a poor person. You are the wealthiest being on the planet. All are wealthy here and now. There is no poverty in God's kingdom, he's saying. God's kingdom is here and now. He's really coming on. Okay. Okay. I took the opportunity to say these things to you because it was the most convenient time to do so. There was no plan to do this because we do not make plans because we are in the plan. The plan is what we are being. And you are all engaged in this process right now, at this moment in time and space. And you hear these words resonating because this body here can feel it pouring through it right now. Its hair stands up on end as we pour its light, our light through it. As you hear our words, you will feel this in your being too. So to give up the world is to give up what you've been told you're not. You're not who you think you are. You are what you think. And most of what you think you never chose. So learning to choose your thoughts. Learning to choose your thoughts. He's emphasizing this. Choose your thoughts. Moment to moment. Carefully. For your thoughts will stimulate your emotions. And your emotions will generate the being that you present to this world. And so it becomes very important to be in the moment, choosing your thoughts very consciously, not allowing anything that is of a low vibration to be the manifestation. of self, but that which is higher, bring down into form and let that energy express out. That vibration of love, of joy, of peace, of compassion, of all the things we mentioned earlier, playfulness, integrity, honesty, all of these vibrational energies, instead of fear or guilt or shame or uncertainty or self-judgment, those things must be released. Those are the old world models, the old third dimensional self. Fourth dimensional self is different. The fifth dimensional self is different again. And as you embrace and step out of the mind that has been put inside your mechanical system called the brain, this thing that is not you, that you inhabit, that you are here to pour your light through, to demonstrate light and love in this world in a way that has never been demonstrated before. This is what you are here for, and it is what every single soul came here to do. Every soul came here to do this. He's saying, pardon me if I sound like a parent chastising a child. It is not intended that way at all. The intention here is to communicate a vibration to you, that you feel, that you know, that is you. For this vibration that you feel inside you is yours, not mine. We merely share that in perspective of oneness. But do not make the state and alteration and the changes in your consciousness as something that I'm affecting, it's something that you're allowing. Because you can only allow or not allow. You can only allow or not allow, and the choice is yours right now, or not. He's saying, you know how to speak. He says, you know how to speak too. He's saying that to you, Sebastian. You know how to speak. What does your heart say? What does your being say right now?
Right now? Okay. Um, Nothing right now. Just listening.
Understood. Because there's no rule that says you must do anything just to be who you are. You know who you are, and you must be who you are. And when you honor it like that, you honor yourself. If you try to do something, he says, if you try to do something, it's not the same as being something. And having the wisdom to know when to do and when not to do is very important. I don't know. Hang on. What, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Personally, I don't know what to say about all this. This is just, he does this to me from time to time, but not to this extent. This is the first time JC's come through with this level of authority and assertiveness. And he's saying it's because the time is now. The time is now for all of us to step up and really fully engage and embrace who we are and to be it. Humanity is not lacking in being. Humanity is not lacking in doing. Humanity is lacking in being. And because we're lacking in being, he's saying that our doing is causing lack and damage and destruction because it's coming from a place of not being. It's coming from a place of thinking you need, thinking you have to acquire and hold on to. And that level of consciousness is depleting your material expression because it was not designed to be consumed in this way. Because it wasn't designed to be consumed and treated as good. You have to be nurtured and cultivated into something far greater than you can imagine at present. But the image always exists. So all of you are engaged in this light work of bringing your being through. Because your being is the light. Your being is the light. That is what you seek. It's within you all the time, as you. Your angelic team will respond to you always. We're always here. I guess you should try answering some questions while he's here. He says, I'll take some questions. Are you open to that?
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Okay. Well, yeah, so JC's back here. He says he'll take some questions on this subject. He wants you to keep them relative to the process of being, because the divine masculine is a concept. The divine feminine is a concept. For what you seek in truth is the divine being, which is unified. It is not broken down into parts. So let's take on a few questions for JC here. Yes, be only love. Because love, being love is different than being fear. I really appreciate you coming on, Seb. I had no idea it was going to come out like
Oops.
that. I had something completely different in my mind about what was going to unfold, and they had something completely different in mind, and I just go with them, right? I always go with my team. They know so much more than I do from my limited perspective, and some people think my perspective is pretty broad, but there are always somebody who knows more than us, right?
Yeah.
Any advice would be welcome. Okay. He's saying a lot of the questions that are asking now, advice, be in the moment. Don't think, he's saying, do not think about what you need to be, just be what you are. Is there another way to say that thing so they can? He says you must learn in your meditations. In your meditations to be in the silence, to feel your connectivity to life, to your heart, to the space, to all things around you, to feel the connection from your heart. And then to become the connection, to become that connection, and being in a state of unified connectedness, you will understand what being in the moment is. So what I understand that to mean is, in my meditations, when I meditate, I literally quiet my mind, quiet my body, and then I allow myself to start feeling the energy of my beingness connecting to everything, the walls, the floor, the ceiling, the space around me, everything around me. I expand my awareness out so that I become tapped into the feeling of being connected with all that is. And not as a planet or not as molecules, but just the connection of the feeling of the connection. So that's a good place to start, he said, to stay connected to the feeling of your connection. He says you have to remove your reference point off this. Because you got to take your reference point off yourself and expand your reference point out to include more, so you can be more. The greater your sense of self, the more you can be it. Yeah. The more you can be. That makes sense. Does that make sense to anybody? It makes sense to me. I do it every day. That's right, Paul. Where is the root of our creativity? He's laughing. He's saying, he's laughing at that question, sure, in a playful way. He's saying, you know exactly where it is in your body right now. There's two places, he says, in your body that are the primary centers of creativity. And he says the first one is up here, and the second one is down here. It's pointing to the root chakra. And you bring those two together. Those two places, you move them through and bring them together in the heart. That's where you will find the meaning of creativity when you bring them together. The root of creativity for your physical being is in the frontal cortex and in what you call the root chakra. And in there are the roots. You bring the roots together in the heart. And then you'll know the meaning of creativity, because when you know the meaning of creativity, he says it's different than understanding the root of creativity. You can get caught on the externalized, he's saying the external interpretations of what things are and miss what things are. So if you're looking for the root of something, you will find the root of something, but that does not tell you what the meaning of that thing that the root is of. It's like looking at an elephant and saying you touch it here and you know what an elephant is. Well, or you touch the leg of a spider and you know what a spider is. He says the root of what you're looking for is the meaning. What do things mean? When you feel the meaning of creativity, then you will just be creative. Be creative, and you'll know what the root of creativity is as a meaning. Because that's what everybody's looking for is meaning, he says. You think you're looking for things and places, you're looking for meaning. I'm going to give one to you here. Let's see if you can tap inside. Oxander is asking, take a deep breath. Oxander is asking, what is my next step on my mission?
Getting so follow your highest joy in the moment, so you can express what you want to express. That's what I got.
Awesome. That's amazing. Totally amazing. Wow. Any other questions? Again, I think this is as much a surprise to me as it is, I'm sure, to you. I'm delighted. Go back if you missed any more questions. Oh, so Marty Mayer is asking, some of us are more masculine, though we are female. Why is that?
For me,
Yeah, take it. You take a crack at it, and then I'll let JP give it an answer. He says you're ready to play with the big boys now.
we all choose to, before we come, we all choose our lessons, and that's it for now.
Yeah, he's saying awesome. He's saying all of us went through different stages. Honor the stage you're at, and he's saying, do not underestimate yourself. He's saying, this is what you need to release. He says, you must release this point of underestimating that what you give is not enough. He's saying that to you, Sebastian. Stop underestimating yourself, he says. Know that what you give is always enough. I want you to know that. He says, now what I will say will be different. Just because what I say is different does not make what you say less than what it is. The choice to be masculine or feminine in the form isn't what's important here, but whether or not the meaning of your personality, the meaning of who you're being, if it is male or female, has an expression that way sometimes may be interpreted as male and at other times interpreted as female. You may choose to express one more domineeringly, and he's saying this word, I use this word very carefully, or what appears to be strong and powerful and might be perceived as masculine, and one that's more gentle and easy of speech and movement may be perceived as feminine. But those expressions are predominantly for you to develop that particular strength of being here. Well, when you develop something here, it doesn't just stop with one lifetime. You may spend a lifetime being more male in expression or being more female in expression, but it's only for part of a much greater process of your evolution through time and space, so that you cultivate yourself to the full extent of what you are. And we are all at different stages. We are all at different stages. You may choose to be more male, or you may choose to be more female. It is a choice, but it is always a choice. What you're wishing to do. Always a choice of what you're wishing to do. Hope that helps. Yes, Kate. He's saying adamantly yes, yes, yes. That sense of feeling like you're all connected. Because from that state of being, you can do things very differently. When you recognize the interconnections and the interrelationships you have with all that is around you, your behavior in this physical body changes and incorporates the reality of all things. So your actions become mindful actions, taking all that is around you into content and into content and into expression. He's saying, in other words, you will know the person 10 yards away from you, the person 20 feet away from you, the person right beside you, and what you're being in the moment and how it will impact all things around you. The work of the masters, we know this, that our being affects all of you. Just as your being affects us to a degree and extent, somewhat different, but your being affects all that is around you in time and space. And this is important if you know this. Yes, continue. Do this around people, become connected and sense what your being needs to be in the moment, but not to use the reference point of how you should be because of them, but how you need to be in the moment, not because of, but aware of what your being needs to be. And this is a skill you need to develop, and this is the beginning point for that for you, young lady. He's using that term, young lady. So yes, do more of that. Do it, practice it with people, sensing what your being needs to be in the moment. Oh. Jessica says, any messages coming through? That's definitely a message coming through.
The cat's going off.
It's totally perfect. You say to Jessica, does that answer your question, Jessica? Because there's always a message coming through. Learn to listen inside. That was beautiful. See, I can't, you couldn't write that, you know? Yes. Melinda wants to know, is there any messages for her?
Oh, she left.
Well, she must obviously have a different message.
Yeah. I was going to say, you want to take this one? To cat. Getting you are where you're meant to be. Don't need to look or worry about the past or future. You're exactly where you're meant to be. All is perfect.
He's saying he's noticed you have a little more trust in yourself this time than the last.
Yeah.
That is good. He says that is good. This is what these courses are all about, developing the trust in yourself and your connection to us and all that is. You know that connection is always intact. You trust. And each time you practice, each time you trust your being, you grow. Yes, that's right, Lionel. Here's a beautiful question. What lessons are transgender people here to teach?
Getting unity, oneness, to transcend the duality.
Yes. He's just nodding yes. Says I do. He says I don't need to say anything after that. That is truth. Wow. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful, Sebastian. Well, it's time to expand around people, Kate. That's what he's saying to you. Expand, not shrink. Be yourself. Don't use other people as a reference. Don't use other people as a reference. Okay. Um, Actually, he's saying, dear one, continue, continue forward on your path, for you have tapped into this being that is you. Continue to expand it and share that awareness and light with others. Share this growing knowing of your being with others that you know. Continue to articulate your truth. Continue to share it, for it is the vibrations that go with what you say and do that do far more than the words themselves. Yes. The vibrations you're committing are more important than the words. Edwina wants to know if you've got a message for her.
Excuse me. I'm just getting that you are loved. You're very loved.
It's amazing. Um, he's saying something about a project to me, Edwina, that there's a project you're currently considering doing. He's saying, do it. He's saying, do it. And he's like, do it. Wow. Ghislaine. Ghislaine, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Because I know that you've gotten to the point where you just said, just call me G, but Ghislaine is a beautiful name. I want to make certain that I'm pronouncing it correctly. So could you confirm that for me personally? And the question she has is, any messages come through for me? I've had someone around me in the past 2 days but I haven't been able to establish who it is. JC is saying, stop trying to establish who it is and feel who it is, for you will know who I am when you feel who I am. That makes sense to you. Yeah. Do not try to establish who it is. He's saying you're trying to allow yourself to feel and know. Summer asks, is that Cha-Cha? You have a cat named Cha-Cha?
Yeah. Cha-cha.
And on the day, jumping on and off.
She's very shy though. She won't come.
Yeah, Paul. JC did say the cat was the message for Jessica. She'd asked for a message. He came in, gave the message, and went out.
Yeah, she was looking right at me when she.
I want you to tune into Edgar and ask Edgar. Edgar wants to know if you have any advice for him.
Go out to nature more. Put your feet on the ground or water, feeling like water.
Awesome. Hope you heard that, Edgar. He doesn't want. JC doesn't need to add to that. Melinda said, "Yay, that resonates." Let's see, I think we're almost done. How long? Wow, we've been on for over an hour. That's awesome. Kate is asking, would you say driving a car is a good opportunity to practice being part of it all? JC saying it's not an opportunity to be, it's always an opportunity to be a part of it all. He's laughing. He's laughing. Because you're always a part of it all. You're always a part of it all. You're always a part of it all. The opportunity is always now. Always now. And Sharon is asking, any messages for me?
Not getting any.
He's just saying, don't delay. That's the only message he got. He's saying, do not delay, Sharon. Do not delay. I don't know what that means. I hope that means something to you. That's what he's saying. Do not delay. I love A Course in Miracles because what he said just triggered in my mind. Course in Miracles has a wonderful statement. It says, delay is tragic in time, but meaningless in eternity. Wow. Anyway, a lot of what JC's been doing, in fact, a lot of the material that's come through coming out with the 102 courses coming through because of JC and Michael and a few other guys that downloaded all this information for Norm and I. So really looking forward to that. You guys have one more week left in the 101 course, and I want to take this opportunity to say, use this time to stay in the practice as much as possible. We're going to transition everybody from the 101 into the 102 that signed up for it. And I want to do it seamlessly, so we're just going to move you in there. So on the 16th, when the class actually begins, the course actually begins, you can continue your live practices and other activities you're currently engaged in. Because what we're going to be doing is adding on to what you've learned in the 101, meditation and wisdom and knowledge and other practices that are going to entrain you to entrain your mind to be quiet, to be in the present, so that you can function as your being, not as you're thinking. That makes sense? The whole goal of the next program is to get you to a state of being in the moment and knowing what that is and then living it. So I hope more of you will come and join us. Also, any other things that need to come up? I think that's all for now. Sebastian, I want to say it took a lot of courage for you to step in. I know that, and to step forward like that. I mean, I'm honored. You know, and JC just saying thank you.
No, thank you guys.
He says, your doubt, step through your doubt. He wants you to step through your doubt. That's your only, he says that's your big, small step right now. To step through your doubt and trust, because all that you spoke today, you spoke from truth of your soul. Even though you had fear and doubt, you still trusted yourself more than your fear and doubt. Continue to do that, he said. Continue to trust yourself more than your fear and your doubt. And he's saying that specifically for you. He says this can apply to many, but he wanted you to get that specifically right now. Continue.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you for showing up today. I love Jason. I hope he's okay. I'm going to find out what's happening with him. But again, everybody in this course, you guys are awesome people. You're so high vibrational, and I love your persistence at pushing through. Keep it up. Find others that haven't stepped forward yet. Encourage them the best way you possible. If you haven't stepped forward, step forward. If you know someone who hasn't stepped forward, encourage them. Because you're fighting for your life, basically, to be who you are. Just as you want them to be who they are. So listen, have an awesome day. This will be up on the wall. I'm going to wish everybody well. And thanks again, Sebastian, for stepping up. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Much
Till
love,
next time.
everybody. Yeah, you too, brother.
See ya.
Bye-bye.